What's up guys, it's Tia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a concert experience video. I haven't done one of these in a really long time. I went to my first concert since I've started filming these videos again, so I thought that I would just do a quick little experience video to tell you about what happened because it was a really awesome concert. I went and saw Waterparks on their first headlining tour. So I went to the stop in Salt Lake City, Utah. It was on Monday, February 20th. And it was in the venue in Salt Lake City, which is like a smaller venue, which is really awesome. I love when I get into a band early enough to be able to see them in those close, intimate settings because it's always so much more fun. Like, there wasn't a barrier between us and the stage, and so it was just like a group of us just listening and hanging out with our favorite band. Alright, so I live in Cedar City, which is in southern Utah, and the concert was in Salt Lake City, which is in northern Utah. I just looked it up, and it is 250 miles away from where I live. So I did have to travel, not quite a long ways, but I do have to travel almost every time that I go to a concert. There's not anywhere close to me that does concerts, so I either have to drive to Salt Lake City or to Las Vegas, because I'm almost right smack in the middle. So I drove up on Monday morning, and I got there around 4, and the doors didn't open till 6, so I was 2 hours early. So I got a pretty good spot. I was pretty close. I didn't get a ton of videos because I didn't want to really film. I just wanted to be in the moment. So once they let us in at 6, the first opening band, that was the band from Salt Lake City, went on around 6:20, I believe, 6:30-ish. And they were pretty good. They played 4 songs, and then the band Creeper came on, and they started around 7, and I believe they played until 7:30, and they played 5 or 6 songs. They were really good. They were quite a bit heavier. I use quotations because they weren't really a super heavy band, but when you compare their music to the music that Waterparks was playing, they were a lot heavier than Waterparks was. And it was kind of funny. So the particular concert that I was at, almost 90% of the people that were there to see Waterparks and nobody else. So during Creeper, we were all having fun, but there was a handful of people, maybe 2 or 3 people, that were standing around me that were there for Creeper. There was a guy standing right in front of me that was there just for Creeper, no one else. It was kind of funny. At one point, the band wanted everybody to start a mosh pit, but everybody standing around me was teenage girls. Like, I kid you not, the oldest person standing by me was probably 16 years old, maybe 17. And I'm 22, so I was a little bit out of my element, but that's okay because I love the band, so it was worth it. But Creeper told them, listen, you got to start a circle pit around this pole that was set in the middle of the crowd. So this guy starts running around this pole a couple times and nobody follows him, so it's kind of funny because he was like doing a mosh pit by himself. And then also during Creeper, another funny thing that happened, this guy literally comes out of nowhere and is on the stage, and without any warning whatsoever, just stage dives into this group of teenage girls. And being teenage girls, they weren't expecting this, so they all kind of like shied away. So he kind of just like ricocheted off of everyone till he hit the ground. And it was really sad, and I feel bad to laugh, but since I know he's okay, I'm laughing about it, and it was really funny. And he just got right back up and kept dancing, and then decided that was not a good idea that he had stage dived. Also, it was just kind of funny because he came out of nowhere. Like, he didn't crowd surf to get up there. Like, literally, he was not there, and then all of a sudden he was on the stage and jumping off. So it was a little bit crazy. After Creeper, Waterparks went on, which was the main reason I went. I didn't even stay to watch Too Close to Touch, just because I had to drive back home that night because I had school the next morning. But during Waterparks set, they played, technically it was an hour, but it was about 45 minutes actually, and they played 10 different songs. If you want to know what the set list is, I will link it in the description below because I don't remember it off the top of my head. But they played 10 different songs. They had multiple talking breaks. Austin is hilarious. I have decided that he is one of the funniest like lead people that I have ever seen, especially because I don't think a lot of his stuff is scripted. Like, I think some of it is, like all bands, I mean, they all have different things that they say every single time that they play their set. But Austin's really good to like play off of the crowd and like the place that he's in, and he's just hilarious, so I thought it was awesome. But I was pretty close. When the show started, there was only 2 people in front of me, and by the time that everybody had pushed forward and moved around and jumped and everything, I was standing right up against the stage right in front of Jeff, which was amazing because Jeff is my boo, and I'm in love with him, and whether he knows it or not, we're gonna get married one day. No, but I think he's so cute. I think he's so talented. I love that he's kind of like the soft-spoken one of the band, but he can be like loud and crazy if he needs to be. But yeah, it was overall awesome. I got some really good videos, the ones that I did get. They were just short ones that I put on my Instagram and Snapchat story, but I will insert a couple of them. For me, the highlight was just being able to be as close as I was. I was a little bit salty because I was standing in front of Jeff. He threw a guitar pick to me, and when I went to go catch it, it bounced off my hand and landed on the back, like on the shoulder right here of the girl in front of me. And when I went to go grab it, some bitch standing next to me just like snatched it out of my hand. And I was like, listen, I understand you want a guitar pick too, but that was for me. But anyways, it ended up being good and working out in my favor because when they were playing the last song, Austin was like hitting everybody's hands and giving everyone high fives, but he had his pick in his hand, and when I went to go give him like a high five, the pick kind of started to fall, so I was like, I'm just gonna go for it. And I just like grabbed it out of his hand like sneakily so nobody would like fight me for it or see it. So I ended up getting a pick from Austin. This is what it looks like. So it is yellow. Sorry, it's kind of blurry. But it's got a cartoon Austin on the front, and then on the back it says, eat ass. Because that's just the type of person that Austin is. And then after their set, they let people line up at their merch table, and they were meeting people and taking pictures with people in the break between the end of their set and the beginning of Too Close to Touch's set. They ended around 8:45, 8:50, and Too Close to Touch was starting at 9:30. So they had like 40 minutes to meet everybody. And there wasn't a ton of people there, but like I said, 90% of the people that were there for Waterparks. So there was probably 100 of us in line standing to meet them. And so I waited in line until like 9:15, and by this point the line hadn't moved at all. So I was like, you know what? I tried. I saw their set and it was awesome, and I was super close and I got a pick, so it's cool. So I'm just gonna cut to the front and go into the separate line so that I can just buy merch and leave. And so because they were standing by the merch table, I got in the line and I got up there to buy my merch, and it took me a minute because I was kind of chit-chatting with the merch guy. And then when I turned around, I just so happened to be standing in between Otto and Jeff, and they were trying to like disperse because there was only 10 minutes left before this next band was gonna come on. So instead of meeting people all together as a band, they were trying to like break off and meet them individually, so all these people standing in line could at least meet one of the members of the bands. And so when I turned around, I just happened to bump into Jeff, and all of these girls, this is gonna sound really offensive to teenagers around the world, but teenage girls are very possessive and very aggressive. And so poor little Jeff is standing here trying to talk to everyone and trying to meet as many people as he can. And I kid you not, these girls are like fighting over him. And like he would be done taking a picture with someone and someone else would grab him and be like, selfie, selfie, like all of this crazy madness. I wasn't even gonna try. I was like, it's fine, I got to see their set, but I just happened to bump into him. And so he turned around and looked at me and I was like, I'm sorry, like whatever. And he was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, I know there's a lot of people wanting to meet you. Can I just give you a hug real quick? And he was like, yeah, that's great. And I was like, I don't need a picture or anything. And so I just gave him a hug. And then there was like an argument between him and the crowd earlier about a tweet he had posted about how pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. And I 100% agree with that. So after I gave him a hug, I was just like, by the way, I agree that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. I got your back. And he was like, thank you. And then some other girl pulled him away, and so I was like, deuces. But yeah, so I got to meet him. I got to give him a hug. But yeah, that was my experience. It was super awesome. One of the best concerts I've ever been to. They're so fun to watch live. They have such good music. I'm going to show you the merch that I got real quick. Oh, I got a sweater. They didn't have very many options for merch, but I did end up getting this sweater. It's kind of dirty because I wore it yesterday, so don't judge me. But it's just this white sweater. And on the front, it has the bomb like their album does. And then on the both sleeves, it just says Waterparks in black with like the blue and yellow splatter. But yeah, this cost $35. So not too expensive. Considering when you go see bigger bands, they charge you like $100 for a sweater. But yeah, then I left. Like I said, after I met Jeff, I left and I drove 250 miles back to southern Utah, and I went to school at 8 a.m. the next morning. So pretty eventful, but it was lots of fun. I would definitely 100% recommend seeing Waterparks live if you get the opportunity. If you have seen Waterparks live, let me know down in the comments below and tell me what your favorite part about seeing them live is. And tell me your favorite songs by Waterparks. Or even if you just go to concerts and you want to tell me about how the next day you have a concert hangover, because that is a real thing. And since I am of drinking age, I could argue that a concert hangover is worse than an actual hangover. The day after I got home from the concert, not only did I have school at 8 a.m., but I also had to work that day. I was useless. I was like so tired I could barely function, but it was 100% worth it to see them live. So yeah, if you like this video or you like Waterparks, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to stick around and see what other videos and what other concerts I decide to go to, you can go ahead and hit subscribe. But until then, I will see you next time. Bye!